Jesus says to us in John 16:33, in this world you will have trouble. In this world you will have trouble. In this world you will have trouble. It's just a known thing. In this world you're going to have trouble. But take heart. Take courage. Take his courage to you, for he has overcome the world. And in 1 Peter 2, verse 20, what kind of glory is there in it if when you do wrong and are punished for it, you take it patiently? But if you bear patiently with suffering, which results when you do right, and that is undeserved, it is acceptable and pleasing to God, for even to this were you called. It is inseparable from your vocation. It is inseparable from your vocation. For Christ also suffered for you, leaving you his personal example, so that you should follow in his footsteps. And we know these things. We know them in our heads. We've heard these scriptures many times. But somehow, when we enter the season with a loved one or in our own lives, where the pain becomes the focal point, things get clouded. I don't know, how many of you have nearly fainted? Or fainted? You know that thing that happens, that tunnel vision that happens, and everything sort of closes down to a pinpoint just before everything goes black? That's our physical and emotional response to the difficult season. We just get this focus that just sort of comes in, and all we can see is the emotion of what's going on around us. And our response, our natural response, or at least my natural response, is I begin to wriggle and fidget and move and look for some way to sidestep the pain. Look for some foundational principle that helps me to escape. Because my goal, if I'm not thinking clearly about it, is to just escape. Just move aside, just get out of the way, just find a way to make it stop hurting. And if it's your children, it's even more difficult. Because you're not the one having to do anything. You're just a bystander. You're just the one watching and praying. And they're the ones that have to make the decisions and make the choices. Step up and move close to the Lord. Today I want us to take a little bit different viewpoint of these seasons in our life. And again, I want to reiterate, I'm not trying to answer the whys, and I'm not trying to answer the what is God doing in your life. We're just looking at the season itself and our response to the season. So if you want to turn to John chapter 15, verse 1, and fasten your seatbelts. Keep your hands inside the vehicle, because we're about to take a solid right turn. And it's going to feel a little like that. John 15, verse 1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Any branch in me that does not bear fruit, that stops bearing, he cuts away, trims off, and takes away. And he cleanses and repeatedly prunes every branch that continues to bear fruit, to make it bear more and richer and more excellent fruit. So, if I'm not producing, and my fruit isn't very good, he's going to prune that. Now, if I'm really bearing fruit, and I'm walking with the Lord, and I'm in good relationship with him, and I'm moving the way I'm supposed to be moving, he's going to prune that. Prune if you do, and you prune if you don't. And to me, that seems a little bit like a catch-22. And I have to admit, whenever I read that verse, something in me just whines. And I go, but that's not fair. Not fair. fair. This is true. And apparently, it starts right here in the Word. Life is not fair. If life were fair, Jesus wouldn't have gone to the cross. Life is not fair.